Hey everyone, welcome back inside the State Champs Sports Network studio for another update in the Total Softball Player of the Year race. No, this is not Donnie Dreher. I'm afraid that he lost a fight with a fire pit, so he's not going to be here this evening. But we do have the other member of the Swing Away podcast outside of Jenna Rose, and that is Brian Chittister, and he is with College Bound Jocks. Now, his daughter, Amanda Chittister, if you remember back in the day, was somebody all over State Champs, kind of near the beginning of our State Champs run, and obviously she has had a tremendous career following high school, and she has an opportunity to play in the Olympics. Granted, if we have an Olympics, but you've been a softball lifer.
Yep.
And your company, College Bound Jocks, let's just kind of familiarize our audience with, what it is that you provide for softball.
We are a recruiting service, and so we 90% about what we do is softball related, but we help high school age athletes get recruited by college coaches. We start that process off by producing skills videos, and from there we help market those kids to the appropriate college coaches, and that's the big key, is getting them in front of the right coaches, and because we do that, we have a 99% success rate.
Well, there you go, and that's a kind of a segue before we talk about the race into the talent level that we see in the state. We were talking before we came on about when your daughter, Amanda, was, tearing up things and talking about kind of her club teams, and you said they wouldn't even hold a candle to cut to so why do how you've obviously seen the trend over the last decade especially, but just kind of talk about where the talent level has ballooned to.
I think the biggest difference between now and 10 years ago is just the level of training. The level of training these kids get today versus what we had back then is just night and day, and that has really helped these kids develop into really, really good players, so that by the time they're getting into college, they're ready to rock and roll. There is not much of a learning curve once they leave high school. Those kids are really solid players, and that's what I see mostly is just the training.
Yeah, and this generation that's coming in, we see it across all sports, the athletic ability. They're athletes from an early age, and they are not taken lightly. They are given every opportunity in a lot of cases that the boys are given, sometimes more, just because of the intense interest, especially when we're talking sports like, soccer and things of that nature, and basketball, but definitely in softball. And, I guess we're coming outside of a generation of parents that love sports so much, and they feel that their daughters have every opportunity that any boy can have.
Right, and they just want to give their kids every opportunity they can, so they're supplying them with hitting coaches and pitching coaches, and just like things like Tommy Walker Fielding Club. I recommend that to everybody because I've seen the benefits. So these kids will start at a certain level, and within a year or so, it's just remarkable. McKaylee Velamont was one of our former CBJ kids, now at Central Michigan. Mm-hmm. She is, without a doubt, the #1 kid out of almost 2,000 softball players I've worked with, the most improved player. And I said to her, you need to get a Tommy Walker, and the difference that kid made was unbelievable.
So what is that? To explain what Tommy Walker is for those.
At Total Sports, they run a program called the Tommy Walker Fielding Club, and what they do is the kids will sign up and they just run you through drills. They teach you all these fundamentals that this is what the college coaches are looking for. I mean, that's kind of what we do at College Bound Jocks when we produce your skills video. I know what the college coaches are looking for, so we're going to make sure we run those type of drills. But the Tommy Walker Fielding Club actually helps these kids learn these drills and those fundamentals, and they do a phenomenal job.
That's right. So check it out. Now let's talk about what's happening in our race. And one thing that's happening right now in the state of Michigan is we are experiencing playoffs, and we are experiencing upsets already. Grand Blanc losing to Davison. Now, the results to the race is the fact that Kendall Klokak, the senior from Grand Blanc, who is going to Purdue, is now no longer playing high school softball. So obviously that can have ramifications. We don't have changes this week in our top 10, but obviously her opportunity not to continue might give an opportunity for someone else. So we'll see how that plays out. The big thing we wanted to talk about with Brian is this home run craze that we have had for the last several years in the state of Michigan, but definitely this year has been another incredible race. Kendra Vanderloot from Otsego. We've been tracking Three Rivers, Callie Hevelin, and then we also had Lauren Saborski from South Lyon East. Now, when it comes to Callie Hevelin, we followed her. Obviously, she's a DAC nominee for Athlete of the Year, but even in 2019, she was in our race. She was competing, and we knew how great she was. You have had an opportunity to work with Kendra Vanderloot from Otsego, and she is somebody we didn't expect to be competing for this record.
Yeah, I got introduced to her about 2 years ago. Her travel ball coach, Red Pastor from the SaberCats, gave me a call, says we really need to get this kid a video. She's a fantastic player, and he said she can hit. So she came out, we did her skills video, and I will tell you, she hit nothing but bombs, and I was really impressed with her, just as a 10th grader, and she has just continued to go up. She ended up getting recruited and committed to Toledo, University of Toledo, and I frequently text Coach Joe Abraham to say, "Wow, you have got a gem coming your way." So and he knows it, and he's excited.
It's a pretty great thing, and this state has representation from, this race has representation from all over the state. So here's the way things play out, people. So the top 10 is going to freeze on Wednesday, June 9th. There are a ton of people on the watch list who could play their way into our final top 10 here, but that is what will happen. Then the voting will end the following Monday, June 14th after regionals, and then the final four will be selected on Wednesday, June 16th. So that's the day after quarters. So everything's going to be fast and furious here over the next couple of weeks. We are looking forward to seeing how things play out. You got to check out the Swing Away podcast. So that is our softball podcast. If you missed the one last week with all those college coaches, it's phenomenal.
Yep.
So
we're doing it again next week. Next
Okay.
week we'll have more college coaches on, and they have a whole nother discussion.
All right, so Donnie and Brian and Jenna, they're holding it down. Lots of shout outs this week, so they're going to shout out a lot of players, and they're going to go into the top 10 even more and talk about some of the individual performances of those who are there, and maybe some athletes who might get an opportunity to play their way in. So it's the perfect companion to this particular video. So make sure you check out State Champs Swing Away podcast wherever you get podcasts, and we will be back with Donnie for another update, and we'll talk about our final top 10. That is next week. So we'll see you then.